In this lesson, we'll walk through the different tools and features that can be used in Ceros to create more accessible content. It's important to note that when creating accessible content in Ceros, it's not as easy as flipping a switch. There's some work you'll need to do when designing and in the studio to ensure that the content that you're creating is accessible. So let's take a look at some of the accessibility tools and features available to you. There are also some accessibility elements that you'll need to consider when designing your content. Things like your icon choice, color contrast, text size, and spacing are key when creating accessible content. So let's talk about icon choice. You'll want to ensure that you are using commonly used and widely understood icons in your experience. Another key factor to consider is color contrast. You'll need to ensure that the colors you choose for your experience have enough contrast to be considered accessible. For example, you wouldn't want to have navy text on a black background or yellow text on a white background. Your text and your background color have to have enough contrast between them to be legible. Within our Accessibility Best Practices Guide, linked below this video, you'll find a helpful color contrast validator tool that you can lean on to ensure you have enough contrast within the experience. Moving on, the next design element to consider is text spacing. In order for your text to be considered accessible, there needs to be enough space in between each individual letter of text as well as each line of text in your content. This can be adjusted in your Ceros typography settings under letter and line spacing. Your letter spacing will need to be at least 0.12 times your font size, whereas your line height will need to be at least 1.5 times your font size. Speaking of text, it's important to always ensure that you're using the Live Text tool within Ceros, rather than using any images of text in the experience. This is critical for screen readers to be able to read your content. In the next video, we'll walk through how to set up a hierarchy within your content to ensure that screen readers read out your information in the correct order.